Hello, everybody. I almost forgot to put my microphone on, but I did remember, and I think everybody can hear me now. Welcome back to another B2 C1 class. I'm Bradford. I will be your teacher for the next, let's say 40 minutes. Yeah, more or less. Today is not going to be a very long class. So, I just realized that I have my exhaust fans on, and I think they might be a little bit loud. At least they sound loud to me. Can you hear them? I think that they are a little bit annoying. I might have to go and switch those off. Hello, Enrique. Hello, Barbara. Barbara, long time no see. Yes, it's very loud. Okay, then I'm going to go switch those off. Give me 1 second. I will be right back. Okay, that is much better. And you see my ghost chair there. You didn't see that before, but now you see my ghost chair. So hello, Isabel. And Santi. Yes, fantastic. Okay. Oh, it's fine. Enrique said it was fine, and Barbara said it was loud. So anyway, now it's off, so we don't have to deal with it. As I said, welcome. And today we are going to look at a little continuation from yesterday, which was the B1 class, where I looked at the 0, first, and second conditional. Very easy, very broad, general grammar lesson. Today we're going to look at the second and third conditional for the B2 group, and then for the C1 group, forget all of the rules that I'm going to tell you about the conditionals, because between you and me, C1 group, there are no rules in English. Yeah, there are no rules. There are rules, but the rules that we teach you when you are in A2, B1, B2, yeah, they basically go out the window when you reach the C1 level, because English gets way creative and really crazy. So have a look here. So we're going to do the second and third conditional, B2, and then we'll look at the rules for those. Very easy. So this might be a review for Isabel, Irene, and anybody studying for the B2. Hello, Alejandro. And then we're going to go to the mixed conditionals. And like I said, forget the rules. Okay? They teach you to remember the first conditional is with the present simple and will, and the second conditional is with the past simple and would, and the third condition, gone. All right. So I hope you've got your notebook, because you will learn a lot of new things today. This is not something that usually makes it into most English classrooms, okay? Today we are going to see something that doesn't make it into really most English classrooms, which I guess happens a lot in these classes that I'm giving, because the subjunctive doesn't really go into English classrooms very much either. So let's start with the second conditional. I think I am out of the way. Yes. Good. So I explained yesterday, but I'll explain again very quickly. Everybody should know this. We have two clauses in the conditionals, the if clause, the main clause. Here with the second conditional, we make it with, where's my pointer? We make it with the past simple, and then would, or you can use another modal verb like could or might or may to talk about possibility or probability. Right. You can switch those, not a problem. This is to talk about unreal, hypothetical situations in the present. Okay, so if I won $1 million, like if I won $1 million, imagine, right now, imagine if I won $1 million, what would I do with that money? I would put it in the bank. Okay? That's what I would do now. This is present. Okay, we're talking about present hypotheticals. I repeat present a lot because later when we do the mixed conditionals, you will see why this is important to remember that this is a present hypothetical, okay? I could buy an airplane now if I won $1 million. I might give it all away. I don't know. I would have to see. So we can switch these two around. Today's class is going to be very free. I don't mean free as in no money. I mean free as in not very structured. Okay? I'm going to give you the opportunity to say whatever you want to say. Barbara was here yesterday, so she knows what I'm doing. I give you the beginning of the sentence. I want you to finish the sentence. There is no one correct answer. Everybody can have a different answer. So attack, all right? Write down the beginning of the sentence and the ending that you want to give it. Okay, the first one, I'd get a new job if it offered me more money. I'd get a new job if it offered me more money. This is the second conditional. I would get a new job if it offered, in the past simple, me more money. I'd get a new job if it offered me more money. Choose any of the ones that you want. When I see them in the chat box, then I will make a comment on either it's going to be correct or incorrect. And if it's incorrect, I will tell you what the problem is. Okay? I'd get a new job if I had a good English level. If I had a good level of English. Okay, good. We'd travel more if coronavirus wasn't here. Absolutely. I think I did, okay, we'd travel more if we didn't have to work so much. That's another possibility. So we have the would. I put the contraction on purpose so that you could see the contraction. I don't know why, but today these lights are very warm for me today. I'm feeling kind of warm. All right, so how do we deal with this one? If we weren't stuck at home, stuck is like trapped. Yeah, you can't leave. If we weren't stuck at home, I would give Bradford an enormous kiss. Well, okay, hugs, kisses, they're all welcome nowadays, really. If we weren't stuck at home, I would visit my grandparents. Santi, no kiss? Come on, man. I love it. Yeah, perfect. Isabel, awesome. Santi, great. Alejandro, if we weren't stuck at home, we would travel more. Yes, absolutely. Very good. I said we'd go to the beach. All right. As long as you have would and the verb, awesome. Enrique says, excuse me, if we weren't stuck at home, we would have a coffee with you. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Okay. Enrique, be careful because I noticed that you left out the comma. Okay. So remember in the conditionals, you have to have a comma after the if clause. The if clause. Yeah. If that if clause is first. Okay. Barbara, going straight to the chase. They'd be able to buy a car if they had more money. Yes, sure. They'd be able to buy a car. Santi, you too with the oh no, sorry. Just never mind. They'd be able to buy a car if they weren't unemployed. Yeah, absolutely. They'd be able to buy a car if they needed one. They don't need one, so they're not gonna buy a car. These are easy. I like it. I'd speak perfect English. Ooh, I caught up to you. They'd be able to buy, all right, okay. If they weren't unemployed, if they had more money. I'd speak perfect English if I watch Bradford's videos. Ah, very good, Alejandro. However, Alejandro, be careful because Watch has to be in the past simple. If I watched Bradford's videos, I'd speak perfect English. Very good. I'd speak perfect English if I was living in London, Enrique. Santi says I'd speak perfect English if I were British. I guess, yeah, sure. If you were British, you'd speak perfect English. Not necessarily, though. If I attended Bradford's class, Irene, cutting to the chase. Yes, sure. Excellent. Thank you. I'd speak perfect English if I were in England. Well, again, okay, yeah, if you were in England, but remember, that's not necessarily if you were in England. If I go to Russia, I don't speak perfect Russian, but I get what you're saying. I like the grammar. The grammar's perfect. I said yeah, I'd speak perfect English if I lived in New York City. If she had more friends, she would be more sociable. Yes, perfect. Irene says if she had more friends, she wouldn't be alone. Ooh, Irene, you and I are on the same wavelength here. I said she wouldn't be lonely. If she had more friends, she would be more popular. Okay, by definition, sure. If she had more friends, she would be more popular. All right, if you ate healthier, you'd be more fit. Yes, perfect, Irene. You'd be more fit or you'd be fitter? You'd be fitter. I have if you ate healthier, you would lose some weight. If you ate healthier, you would live longer. Perfect, Enrique. Absolutely, spot on. If the city wasn't so dirty... Oh, I'm not quite in the way, but a little bit. If the city wasn't so dirty, it would have more tourists. Plural, Irene, tourists. Yes, but very good. If I were you, okay, I'd tell him the truth. Absolutely. Wonderful grammar, Barbara. If the city wasn't so dirty, I wouldn't be thinking about leaving. Negative. Negative and a negative. If the city wasn't so dirty, I would go for a walk more often. Perfect, Santi. Well, it seems like everybody has a very good grasp on the second conditional. If I were you, I wouldn't break up with her. Good advice, Enrique. Excellent advice. If I were you, I wouldn't break up with her. If I were you, I'd listen to your teacher. Okay, so it seems to me everybody has a good understanding of the second conditional, at least grammatically. Let's move on. Third conditional. Okay. Now we're getting into a little more complicated area. The third conditional, we are speaking about the past. Okay, this isn't the present now, this is the past, right? So to speak in the past, we use in the if clause the past perfect. If she had run faster, and this is the same in Spanish, she would have won, okay? She would have won, this is the past with the auxiliary, the race. She could have won the race. She might have won the race. Do you remember that to put the modal verbs in the past, we have to use have, yeah? Might have, should have, could have, yeah? And these are interchangeable again. The negative, you go after the auxiliary before the main verb. Okay? But after had, but remember it's before the main verb. So here it's run, here it's have. Okay? If she hadn't run solely, if she had run solely, she might not have won the race. Okay? If I were you, I wouldn't break up with her. No questions about the third conditional. Then we do the same thing, and one step closer to the mixed conditionals. Okay. Everybody good with this? I can move on. Thumbs up. 5 seconds. Yes, very good. Irene is good. Okay, Enrique, excellent. Okay, brilliant. So, have a go. Choose your sentence and let me hear what you have to say. If John had bought a new car, and you can do any of them, you don't have to go in order. These ones are a bit longer. He wouldn't have to fix the other. Okay. Alejandro, just remember, he wouldn't have had to fix the other one. Okay. He wouldn't have had. So you've got he wouldn't have had to fix the other one. Okay, you need the noun with other, the other one. He wouldn't have had to fix the other one. He would have to pay for it. Marta. Hello, Marta. Okay, again, Marta, you have to put it in the past. So he would have had to pay for it, or he would have paid for it. Okay, do you see how that construction works? You need, if we go back, okay, if we go back, you have to have he would have and then the participle. All right, so we're doing have, so it's would plus the present perfect, if you will. So she would have won, or in Alejandro's case, he would have had to, or he would have paid for it. Okay. If John had bought a new car, he wouldn't have been in the garage quite often. Yeah. Okay. Enrique. Good. Irene. I put if John had bought a new car, he'd have bought a small one. He would have bought a small one. If he had bought a new car, it would have been a small one. Okay. If Mrs. Brown hadn't found her cat, Irene says, Mrs. Brown, he would have to buy a new one. He would have had to buy a new one, or he would have bought a new one, or she, because Mrs. is she. She would have bought a new one, Irene. If Mrs. Brown hadn't found found her cat, she would have gone crazy. Ooh, these ones are... You said that you didn't have any problems when I was showing you how to make the third conditional, but I'm thinking that this isn't as easy as it looks for some people. Y'all are making some mistakes. If Mrs. Brown hadn't found her cat, we'd have looked for it all night. He would have become mad. Okay. The collocation, Enrique, is to go mad. Go mad, like go crazy. And Mrs. Brown is a woman. So if Mrs. Brown hadn't found her cat, she would have gone mad. If I hadn't forgotten my key, I would have been sleeping. Okay. Forgot my key. I couldn't sleep. Yeah. Okay, Alejandro. I would have been sleeping. Yeah. I said if I hadn't forgot my key, I might have slept in the street that night. But I forgot my key. So I Slept in the street. Number 5, you might have gotten hurt. I think I skipped over that. I wouldn't have made a new copy. Right, if I hadn't forgotten my key, I wouldn't have made a new copy. Yeah, Barbara, good. Enrique, if I hadn't forgotten my key, we would have had the last beer in my place. Right, at my place, Enrique, at my place. If I hadn't forgotten my key, I wouldn't have called my friend. Right, good, Santi. So Irene jumped to 7, Marta jumped to 7, Isabel jumped to 8, and everybody skipped 5 and 6, apparently. Oh, no, 5. Isabel answered 5. If you had not your helmet with you, if you hadn't had, Isabel, if you hadn't had your helmet with you, if you had not had your helmet with you, you might have gotten hurt. Okay? If you had fallen out of the tree, you might have gotten hurt. Number 6, did I miss anybody or... Nobody did 6. If you hadn't been so careful, you might have gotten hurt. Yes, Santi. Good. I got a couple of 7s, but no 6s. If you had forgotten about her so long, if I had followed your advice, Barbara, I could have been famous. Perfect. If I had studied performing arts, Irene. Aesthetics arts? No, performing arts. If I had studied performing arts, I could have been famous. If I had studied harder, I could have been famous. If I had sung in the festival, I could have been famous. Yes. Enrique, I don't know what you were... Could you finish that sentence? If you had forgotten about her for so long, if you had forgotten about her, I don't know which one you're trying to answer, Enrique. If I had started a band when I was a teenager, I could have been famous. If I had lived in Hollywood, I could have been famous. Yeah, absolutely. Good, Enrique. If I had lived in Hollywood, I could have been famous. 7, then where'd my 7s go? If he had studied more, Tom would have passed his exam. Yes. If he hadn't spoken during the exam, Tom would have passed his exam. Yes. Very good, Irene. Very good, Marta. Absolutely. Spot on. If he had studied all these months, Isabel. Okay, so it's plural these, T-H-E-S-E, these months. If he hadn't been so lazy, Tom would have passed his exams. Yes. If he hadn't played games all night, Tom would have passed his exam. Okay, so these are all in the past. He did play games and he didn't pass his exam. So we are talking about the past, right? This is very important because later you are going to see the interaction between the present, the past, and the future in the mixed conditionals. So in the second conditional, it's a hypothetical present situation, and this is a past situation or a past regret. Number 8, if he hadn't been so... Okay, if Tom hadn't been in the party yesterday, at the party yesterday, Tom would have passed his exam. Yes, good, Enrique, at the party. If they had lived here with us, they might have been happier. Okay, sure, great. If they had lived here with us, instead of wherever they were living that was worse than living here. If they had gone to the party last night, they might have been happier. If they had gone... Yeah, good, Marta. If they had just listened to me, they might have been happier. Okay, so that one wasn't as easy as the second conditional. It was a bit more difficult because you had some problems with the participles and you had some problems with remembering the have and the had together, like have had or had had. It sounds strange, but you've got one which is haber and the other one which is tener together. So remember that if I had blah 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 blah, if I had a watch, I would have known what time it was, right? If they hadn't been so self-centered, they might have been happier. Okay, be careful, Santi. You just didn't finish the sentence, or you forgot a word. If they had lived on the Mediterranean coast, they might have been happier. Enrique, we are going to have to work on your prepositions, sir. At the party, on the coast, and I think you had another one up here before. Can't remember what it was. Anyway, prepositions are not subjunctive, more difficult. Okay. Yeah. Strongly. The subjunctive is more difficult. Okay, yes, very much more difficult. And it's because it's not used as much. Right. That's the third conditional. Remember that it's in the past. Now for my B2 advanced and my C1, C2 students. Here we go. If you have a question, if you have a question about the third conditional, now is the time to ask it before I go into the mixed conditionals. Okay. If you have a notebook or a piece of paper, now is the time that you are going to be sort of jotting things down, taking things down, because this is going to be a little confusing. Okay, so forget the rules, okay? That's the one thing I'm going to tell you right now. Forget that the second conditional is with the past simple and the would with the verb. Forget that the past continue or the third conditional is with the past perfect and then the would. Forget all of that. You cannot think about the tenses so much as the time it's happening and to know what tenses relate to what time. Okay, and let me show you what I mean. Here we go. Okay. So I've put the past in blue, the present in red, and the future is in yellow green? Grello? I don't know if that's yellow. I think it's yellow. Okay, so we're mixing conditionals. We have a past. If I had won the lottery in the past, I'd be happier. Now, in the present, I would be happier now if I had won the lottery in the past. I've never won the lottery, therefore I am not very happy right now. Well, I'm fine, but just not as happy as I would be if I had won the lottery. So we have the past and the present. Now, normally, if this was the third conditional, if I had won the lottery, I would have bought a car, for example, two things in the past. If I had won the lottery in the past, I would have bought a car in the past. But now we're linking, connecting the past with the present. If I had won the lottery, I'd be happier. If I had learned German 2 years ago or when I was a child or whatever, now I would be able to talk to my father-in-law. I don't know German now. I can't talk to my father-in-law, and I never learned German in the past. So now we're mixing. This is the beginning or the if clause of a third conditional and the main clause of the second conditional. So you see we're mixing the conditionals. All right. From 0 to 10, difficult, not difficult. 10 being like, Bradford, are you speaking Chinese? 0 being, this is so super easy. Tell me how you feel right now seeing these for the first time. They're not difficult to translate, but they are difficult to sort of put into, it's fine. Marta says, great, brilliant, wonderful. All right. Okay, so then how can we link the past to the future? Well, if I'd signed up, this should not have signed up here. You go away. Okay. First is past or past participle? You mean first conditional? The first conditional is present simple and then the will But this one here, if you're talking about the first example, this is the past of the second conditional, and we have here the past participle, and here is would with the infinitive. Now, if I had signed up for piano classes, in the past, tomorrow I would be playing in the recital. Tomorrow. And this is, if you look here, the continuous, to be playing, used in the future, right? Remember that we use the present continuous to talk about the future when we have an arrangement. For example, I'm meeting friends this Saturday. Well, here we have it in the conditional. If I had signed up for piano classes, I would be playing in the recital tomorrow. But I didn't sign up for piano classes with this. Yeah, so I'm not playing tomorrow in the recital. If she had gotten into the same university, she'd be moving next week too. So here in the past, if she had gotten into the same university, she didn't, but if she had, she would be moving next week too. But she's not moving next week because she didn't get into the same university. So I think we can see here how these two, past and past, start with the third conditional in the if clause and then end in the hypothetical, second conditional, or even in the future. I think these are clear. And like Enrique, if anybody has a doubt or a question at any time, throw it into the chat box, okay? Now, if I were you, second conditional, I'd have bought that car. I would have bought that car. Yeah? So, for example, I'm not you, so I didn't buy the car. You are a millionaire. You've got so much money. I do not, so I didn't buy the car. I wouldn't buy the car. I can't buy the car. But you could buy the car, and if I were you, I totally would have bought the car when you saw it yesterday. So now we're linking the second conditional, hypothetical, if I were you, with the third conditional, I'd have bought the car. So it's kind of like the reverse of this, right? Second conditional, third conditional. If I were you, I'd have bought the car. If you spoke English, I'm not in the way, am I? No, but my menu is. If you spoke English, you don't speak English, but if you spoke English, you could have translated for me yesterday. I needed an English translator yesterday. You were with me, but you don't speak English. You didn't speak English yesterday. You don't speak English today. If you spoke English, you could have translated for me yesterday. So here are three examples, three types of mixed conditionals, and I've got three more now I want to show you, and then we'll practice, and we'll call it a day. Nobody is asking any questions. I'm assuming that everybody is frantically taking notes. Maybe. If you need to see this again, or if you need it to sort of write down the examples, my recommendation to you would be to write down one example for each one, and then if you need more examples, you can come back, watch the video again, or find this part of the video, and then take down the rest of the examples. Okay, so let's go down to this one, because this one here, the third option, where it says present and future, is the continuation of the present and the, where am I? So it's a continuation of this one, right? This present and past, and now I'm going to go, and now we're going to go to present and future, okay? So let's look at this one first. Present, we did present and past. Now let's link the present to the future, because we know present and present, that's second conditional. So present, if I didn't have time, I do have time, but if I didn't have time, I wouldn't help you later. I wouldn't help you later. Or I wouldn't help you tomorrow if I didn't have time. Of course I have time. I will help you tomorrow. So here, the wouldn't, yeah, Gets a little bit tricky. Yeah, I wouldn't help you if I didn't have time. Of course I have time. I'm going to help you later. Wait for my menu to go away. If he were more confident, he's not very confident, but if he were more confident, he'd try out for the part tomorrow. Tomorrow there's a casting, and everybody is going except him because he's not very confident with himself, so he's not going to try out. But if he were more confident, he would totally try out for the part tomorrow. So we're linking the present hypothetical to the future certain, right? It's certain that he would try out for the part in the case that he were, if it's present, why you write did. Good. Okay, excellent question. So remember in the second conditional, Irene, it's a present idea, but we use the past tense, yeah? If I were a millionaire, I would buy a Ferrari. I'm not a millionaire, I can't buy a Ferrari. So you have to use the past simple in the second conditional. Right, got it. Excellent. Good question, though, because sometimes it can get confusing, yeah? We're using the present continuous for the future. We're using the past for the present. We're using the future, right? Okay, so let's do our last two. We've got the future linked to the past and the future linked to the present. So the future and the third conditional and the future and the second conditional, right? So the hypothetical and the past or the changes in the past. So here we go. Let's look at this top one. The future linked to a hypothetical present, a not real present. If I were going tonight to the party or to the concert, I'd be very excited. I'd be very more excited. That's horrible English. Oh my gosh. Okay, don't copy that one down. I'd be much more excited. Who wrote that? I'd be much more excited than you. Oh, and it's got 2 periods. I'd be much more excited. I'm not excited because I'm not you, and I'm not going. But if I were going tonight, yeah, again, this is the continuous. You see that? I am going to a concert tonight. I am very excited. If he weren't playing tomorrow, the newspapers would all be reporting it, right? If Cristiano Ronaldo weren't playing in the match tomorrow, future, he is playing in the match tomorrow, but if he weren't playing in the match tomorrow, the newspapers would all be reporting that news. Present. They're not reporting it because he is going to play in the match tomorrow. Future. I'm doing a lot of talking here, and you're all doing a lot of listening, and I appreciate your patience. So last one, future with the past. So let's link a future with a past regret or a past change. If I weren't already having a party on Saturday, I am having a party on Saturday. But if I weren't already having a party on Saturday, it's planned, and I'm having it in the future, I'd have agreed to play in the match with my friends. I didn't agree, past, I didn't agree to play because I'm having a party on Saturday. But if I weren't having a party on Saturday, I would have agreed to play in the match. So we're linking the future with the past. Isabel has a question. The first example on the present future, this one? Why? Are you asking the same question Irene asked, Isabel? If you are, well, as I explained, let me finish this and then I'll explain. Again, just in case. Okay, so here, let's look at this future one. If they weren't coming tomorrow, they are coming tomorrow. But if they weren't coming tomorrow, I'd have planned a day trip for us alone. Yeah, I didn't plan a day trip because they are coming tomorrow. But if they weren't coming tomorrow, future, I would have planned a day trip for us alone. Past. Yesterday, for example, I would have done it yesterday. But I didn't do it yesterday because they're coming tomorrow. It sounds like a word salad. No, a little bit, but these are the mixed conditionals. Now, Isabel, are you referring to this example here? If I didn't have time, I wouldn't help you later. If you're referring to this one, then as I explained to Irene, this is a hypothetical in the present. It's like the second conditional, yeah? If I didn't have time, I do have time, but if I didn't have time, si no tuviese, it's the subjunctive in Spanish. Si no tuviese tiempo, if I didn't have time, I wouldn't help you. But I do have time. Yes, that example, but the part of the future. Why is it not present? Okay, so I get it now. Okay, so I think Isabel is asking me, why is this clause not considered present? It could be, yeah, if you're talking about now, like if I didn't have time, I wouldn't help you now. I wouldn't be helping you now if I didn't have time. Yeah, that's certainly true. That's present. But we can talk about it in the future, which is why I put later in the parentheses, yeah? If I didn't, like, oh, can you help me tomorrow on my project? Yeah, sure, I guess. Oh, no, but if you don't have time, yes, of course. If I didn't have time, I wouldn't help you on the project tomorrow. Do you see? You can make it in the future, okay? I can help you tomorrow. I will help you tomorrow. Yeah, good. Excellent. Good questions, Irene. Good question, Isabel. Enrique, I answered your question. Okay, good. Any other questions on these mixed conditionals or how they're formed or anything like that? It can get a bit confusing, but I think you can see now why I said forget the rules because you can mix the present, and you have the second conditional, the past and the past, and you have the third conditional, or the future and the present and the future and the past. You can mix the future and the past? What are you talking about, Bradford? All right. So there it is. The future is mixed with the past, right? If something, yeah. Let's do this. All right. 6. That's it. 6 questions and we're done for the day. Wow, 43 minutes already. I talk too much. Okay, so have at it. I'm going to make me bigger. Feel free to start answering some questions. I'm just going to make myself a little bit bigger. There you go. I'm still not in the way, though. She will make dinner because her meeting was canceled. So she will make dinner in the future because her meeting was canceled in the past. Start right off the bat, right? Future with the past. But what? She will make dinner because her meeting was canceled. But how can you put this into a mixed conditional? And you can write only the answers if you want. You don't have to write the entire sentence. I understand it's a bit long. If you want to write the entire sentence, that's cool. If you want to write it down in your notebook, that's cool. That's a very good exercise as well. That gets you sort of trained to practice. Okay, won't make, hadn't been canceled. All right. Would not have made, had not been canceled. All right, so we got the second part, That's right. Hadn't been canceled. But the first, we got to put that. We got to put that into the future of the conditional. So how did we do that? We didn't do that with won't. But she weren't making dinner if her meeting hadn't been canceled. Ooh, Santi, you're so close. Irene wouldn't make. Nah. Remember, how did we talk about an arrangement in the future? We use the present continuous. So we could say she will make dinner because her meeting was canceled. But she lost my thing. Wouldn't be making dinner if her meeting hadn't been canceled. All right, so remember, we need to put wouldn't, and then the continuous is what tells us it's in the future. All right, it's not the won't, it's the continuous. Okay, she wouldn't be making, she is making dinner. We know that. She's going to make dinner because her meeting was canceled. So we have this arrangement. She wouldn't be making dinner if her meeting hadn't been canceled. But it was canceled. She's making dinner. But she wasn't making dinner if her meeting would have been canceled. Okay, be careful, Enrique. You cannot mix the would or the main clause in the if clause. Okay, so the conditional of the would, here, cannot be in this clause here. Okay, be careful with that, Enrique. We touched on that a little bit yesterday, but I didn't mention it today. So that goes for everybody, yeah? Do not put would in the if clause. So let's try number 2. Irene asks, wouldn't make. She wouldn't. Okay, I see what you're saying. But is it clear now, Irene? She wouldn't be making? They aren't coming to the barbecue tomorrow, future, because he broke his leg, past. Good, Irene. Yes. So what do we think? Isabel says, but they would come if he had not broke his leg. Okay. Participle of break, Isabel. And how did we do the future? Santi says, but they would be coming if he hadn't had broken his leg. Almost, Santi. They would have come to the barbecue if he had not broken his leg. Okay, Barbara, that's the third conditional right there. They would have come in the past if he had not broken his leg in the past. But the barbecue's tomorrow. It's in the future. So we have to mix the future and the past. Were coming, hadn't had broke. Almost. So they aren't coming to the barbecue tomorrow because he broke his leg. But they would be coming, the same as here, they would be making, they would be coming tomorrow if he hadn't broken his leg. If he hadn't broken his leg. So this is the future. This was the future. They would be coming tomorrow if he hadn't broken his leg. All right, so this is a tough one. I can see everybody is having a difficult time with this one. All right, yeah? So they would be coming. Yeah, Santi, you got that one because that's the future, but you stuck in an extra had here. If he hadn't broken his leg. All right, let's look at number 3. John is upset. And again, if anybody has questions, everybody is getting these wrong. Yeah, if you're not sure about my answer or you really have a doubt, fire away. Yeah, let me know. Okay, so John's upset, present, because his team lost the final yesterday. Past. So we're connecting the present and the past now, not the future. The present, he's upset because his team lost yesterday. John would be happy if his team had won. Isabel, straight out of the block, would be happier if his team would have won. Okay, Enrique, you cannot have would and would in the two clauses. Okay, remember, Enrique, if we have the if clause, you cannot have the would here. But you're very close. John would be happy or happier. That's fine, Enrique. If his team had won. And this comes from the third conditional, and this comes from the second conditional. So the present, he would be happy. He's not happy, but he would be happy if his team had won the final yesterday. No problem. Don't apologize, Enrique. That's why you're here, right? I mean, if you spoke perfect English, you would be very bored with my class right now because, well, you would know it all. So I hope we're learning something. That's the important thing. Haley speaks English fluently, present, because she lived in Los Angeles for 20 years. Past. So again, we're mixing the present and the past. Irene says Haley wouldn't speak English fluently if she hadn't live. Participle, Irene. Isabel comes in, would not speak. It's the same as wouldn't speak fluently if she had not lived. Yes, Irene, lived. Very good. So, Haley wouldn't speak English fluently if she hadn't lived in LA for 20 years. She wouldn't speak. All right, you stuck in an extra had, Enrique. She wouldn't speak if she hadn't. Santa, yes. Barbara, Haley. Haley did not speak English fluently. Okay, so we need if she. Right, okay, so Barbara, I think you just confused these two. You need to have the would in the first part of the sentence and then the past in the second part of the sentence. Yeah, remember, if you have a notebook and you're taking notes, awesome. And write down right now that would cannot go in the if clause of the sentence. That's it. I see it a lot, and a lot of people want to make the mistake. And I did mention it yesterday. Barbara, you were here yesterday, in fact. Don't put would in the if clause. If you see if I would, bells, whistles, oho, like mind explosion time. If does not go with would. Okay, so number 5. The hotels lost a lot of business because Fias will be canceled this year. So they lost a lot of business because in the future they will cancel Fias. I know it's already been canceled, but let's just assume that it's the future. So now we're connecting the past with the future. Before we were doing the future with the past, but now we're connecting the past to the future. The hotels, Santi says, wouldn't have lost so much business if Fias didn't cancel. Isabel would not have lost if Fias were not canceled this year. Wouldn't have lost. Okay, so the participle of lose is lost, Enrique, if they hadn't been canceled. Let's see. Okay, so hadn't been is the past. We need the future. The hotels wouldn't have lost so much business if Fias weren't being canceled. But it is being canceled. Or you can also say, if it were not canceled this year, that's fine. So Isabel, very close. Remember, we use the continuous when we're talking about the future. That's the easiest way with these constructions to speak about the future in the conditionals with the continuous. Last one. We are watching TV tonight because we are digital detoxing. Oh no, it should be we aren't watching. Oh no. We aren't watching TV tonight. Yeah, if you're digital detoxing, you can't watch TV. You're not allowed to watch TV. We aren't watching TV. Don't look at my answers. I know you're all looking at my answers. Sorry. All right, let's go through here. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so we aren't. Oh, that didn't work out. All right, whatever. You can see it fine. We aren't watching TV tonight because we are digital detoxing. Digital detoxing means no screen time, right? But we aren't watching TV tonight because we are digital detoxing. If I hope I did this. I didn't even see my answers. Well, we'll do it together if I make a mistake. You are very patient with me. I appreciate that. But if we weren't detoxing, digital detoxing, we would watch TV tonight. Santi, if Isabel says if we were not detoxing, we would be watching TV tonight. Yes. Irene, if we had detoxing, if we weren't digital detoxing, we would be watching TV. Enrique, yes. If we, oh dear, now this is not, if we weren't digital detoxing, now my sentence is all out of whack. Oh man alive, I tell you, if it's not one thing, it's like another thing and a bazillion other things. There we go. Okay. So if we weren't digital detoxing, which we are digital detoxing, if we weren't digital detoxing, we would be watching TV tonight. Enrique, spot on. Brother, way to go. If we weren't digital detoxing, we would be watching TV tonight. So Santi, we would be watching. If we were not detoxing, we would be watching. Isabel, very good. Irene, if we weren't. Enrique, yes. All right. Okay, so there it is. Mixed conditionals. Now you know that basically you can create, is this tonight considered future or present? Right, so tonight is future. It's always future, really. Unless you're actually in the night. Let me think. If we weren't digital detox, we would be watching TV tonight. We'd watch TV tonight. That's a good question, Santi. Okay, so basically, obviously, a lot of it is going to depend on your frame of reference, right? What time is it when you're speaking? I just considered it to be the future, but I can see how it could be considered the present. Yeah, it could be both. So yeah, all right, it could be both. I put down tonight. I guess I should have put down this weekend or tomorrow or something to make it very clear. But good catch, good question. It could be future or it could be present. All right. Any other questions about the mixed conditionals? As I was saying, you know now that basically you can connect the present and the past, the present and the future, the past and the future and the past, the future and the present, the future and the whatever. You can connect it all by using mixed conditionals and your regular 0, 1, 2, and first, second, and third conditional. That's it. This is as complicated as conditionals gets. I mean, we can put in modal verbs and we can have different time words like, before or after or when or it, but grammatically, this is as difficult as it gets. The only thing left to say is thank you. There you go. One big happy thank you. Nothing else to say, really. Thank you. Thank you for coming another week. If you want any sort of extra practice or anything, I know you can just Google mixed conditionals, advanced English, and Google will send you to like 100 exercises and you can do that. If you have any questions or if you have any doubts or whatever, you can put them in the comments or you can send me an email. Please tell your friends about the channel. I'm just trying to get started. And I will see everybody next week. Thank you very much. And good luck to Valencia getting into phase 1. Yes, Enrique. Everybody have a very good weekend. Bye. Take care. I'm glad you liked it, Santi. Ciao.